Hello, my name is Zachary Ellis, and this is my ceremonial speech on teachers. And I'd like to open up by asking how many of you believe that your personality has been molded by your educational experience? For me personally, I've attended charter schools and public schools, and I've been in 3 different states. And I think that my teachers and my peers as well have influenced who I am immensely. Teachers are the first authoritative figures that we encounter outside of our immediate family, whether they be parents or aunts or caretakers. And when I remember attending school, I like to think about my teachers being supporting and kind of guiding me towards my future. There's a quote that I have: "Educators are the foundation from which our principal mannerisms are built upon." So I hold them in high regard. Um, my first year in public school, because I've attended public school all my life, I went to a charter school for 2 years, and I had a personal relationship with both my teachers. Our class sizes were relatively small. My first grade teacher, I don't really remember her name, but we used to go to the library with her. And my second, her name was Miss Berner. Her husband worked at Animal Kingdom, and so she instilled in me my first interest in animals. Because I do have, I'm really interested in wildlife research, and she was also a huge proponent of recycling. So she instilled that in me at a really young age when it really wasn't as big as it is now. Uh, Third grade, I went to my first true public school. It was Sawgrass Bay, and I had Miss Fowler, and she made me fall in love with reading. I read all of the Harry Potter series in third grade with her as my teacher, and I had the highest AR score in the entire school. And she was pushing. I was like her MVP of the class because it was based on class, and she always pushed me to go higher. My dad joined the army. We moved to Fort Carson, which is in Colorado, and that was where I had my first negative teacher. She was in fifth grade. Uh, I was going through a really rough time then, and she was really indifferent and wasn't as, I would say, even before, she wasn't, she, I had a really strange personality. Um, I was the smartest kid in the class, but I was also the most talkative and most loud and most disruptive. But the kids, I was friends with everyone, but she didn't really see it as a positive trait. She always tried to suppress that side of me. And to this day, I still think about her because she made me very, it was not, I guess, her personally, but like the whole experience of being in that classroom with the teacher that I don't think really liked me kind of put me in a really down state. From then on, in middle school, I went to Fort Carson Middle School, my first half of sixth grade, and all the teachers there loved me. They all, Miss Stoner, Mr. Mattis, Miss Hawthorne, and Miss King. I had one teacher twice, and they were all, as I said, positive, and in their own departments, they pushed me to my limit. In Muscuda, I went from Colorado. I went to Muscuda, and they weren't nearly as positive. They were also, much like my fifth grade teacher, very suppressive and trying to make us all the same. It was almost like a military academy. Basically, that school was prison for me. But in high school is where I met my probably the best teacher I've ever had. His name was Mr. Lavrel. He was my biology teacher, and his wife was my algebra teacher in middle school, and she was probably the best teacher I had. And they both taught me to pursue my dreams no matter what, because the wife lived in Illinois, in the middle of the country, in the Midwest, and she wanted to be a marine biologist, and she actually went to school for it, and she was planning on moving to the coast, but she said that she wanted to be a teacher. So, and I had a personal relationship with them both, and I volunteered a lot with them. And I knew their family, I knew their kids, and it was just from that interaction. I think most importantly is what flipped my outlook on teachers from having such a negative experience in middle school. And to them, I'm very grateful. In Eastridge, which is in Lake County, which is the school I'm attending right now, I've had my engineering teacher for 3 years and my IT teacher for 2 years, and they as well have been very supportive of me in decisions I've made, and haven't been as suppressive. And in conclusion, that it was the teachers that, while they did put me down at some points, they also were the ones that lift me up. And since education is such highly valued, and since uh, education is compulsory in this country, I feel like our educators themselves need more credit than they currently receive, and this is my way of attributing to them. Thank you.